Hey friends, Sean from SGT Report here with a very important and probably demonetized video update for you. And first, I want to say that I need to make a retraction about the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act. In a recent video, I lamented the fact that if the Senate Republicans can't stand up for babies, how can we expect them to stand up for our free speech on social media? I did get that wrong because 3 of the Republican senators didn't vote. The vote was 53 to 44, with 3 Democrats joining the Republicans to support life, while all prominent Democratic 2020 presidential hopefuls in the Senate voted down the measure, including Bernie Sanders of Vermont, Kamala Harris of California, Cory Booker of New Jersey, Kristen Gillibrand of New York, and Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota, along with Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts. Again, the final vote was 53-44, 7 votes short of the 60 needed. So if those other 3 Republicans had been around to vote, plus the 3 Democrats that switched, the vote still would have only been 56-44, short of the 60 votes needed to save life. But at this point, it's never been more clear that the Democrats are the party of death. They are the anti-human, anti-American, anti-sovereignty, anti-patriot party, period. And I'll say this, YouTube seems not to be learning anything from Jack Dorsey's recent return to Joe Rogan, in which Tim Pool schooled Jack Dorsey and his head of public relations in the safety team there at Twitter. It's clear that YouTube, just like Facebook and Twitter, is likely to continue targeting conservatives, libertarians, and Christians like me. The Sling and Stone YouTube channel just found out that they're no longer eligible to monetize any of their videos, and that's a Christian channel. And I'll read from the memo YouTube sent him. During a recent review, our team of policy specialists carefully looked over the videos you've uploaded to your channel, Sling and Stone. We found that a significant portion of your channel is not in line with our YouTube Partner Program policies. As of today, your channel is no longer eligible to monetize, and you will not have access to monetization tools and features. Now, it goes without saying, folks, you know this from all of the demonetized videos I've had and strikes in the past, they don't ever tell you what the offense was. They don't tell you why your videos are not suitable for most advertisers. And in this case, they have not told Sling and Stone why he no longer is in line with their YouTube Partner Program policies. There is an all-out war on conservative speech and Christian speech, and I think it's only going to get worse. So I want to let you know, friends, that despite the fact that YouTube has changed their algorithms to not give you the returns you seek when you type in a subject and you want to explore and research that subject, there is a workaround. If you go to DuckDuckGo, and my thanks to one of my viewers who made me aware of this, if you go to DuckDuckGo, just go to the search bar and type in site:/YouTube.com. and then search for whatever you'd like. In this case, moon landing hoax. And what you'll get are the top returns as they used to come up for you on YouTube. So you get the actual YouTube links regarding this particular subject or any other. It's a great end around for those who are doing research and want to continue doing the research that YouTube is now preventing us from being able to do. Now, I also want to direct you guys over to my other site, thephaser.com, and of course, thelibertymill.com, where you can see the Phaser feed right there if you'd prefer that. But you've got to watch this video from News Wars. Renegade State, the 4 families that have ruled California for decades. This is so important because I knew Gavin Newsom was a Getty puppet, but I had no idea how deep the roots were. And the 4 families in control of California for decades now have been the Brown family, Jerry Brown and his family. Jerry Brown, of course, the governor that introduced mandatory vaccines, SB 277. The Newsom family, of course, Gavin Newsom is now the governor. The Pelosi family, and of course, the Getty family. These 4 families have ruled California with an iron fist and driven that state into the ground with their Marxist, anti-human policies. And it's only going to get worse as long as these types of people remain in power. Which brings me to this juicy news item from Zero Hedge a couple days ago. Greenpeace co-founder rips pompous little twit Ocasio-Cortez as garden variety hypocrite on climate. Now, he couldn't be more over the target. And what's so important about this is you would expect Greenpeace to align with Cortez's policies, her outlandish policies of zero carbon emissions and the Green New Deal. Now, I got to read this tweet from Patrick Moore, the Greenpeace co-founder, who writes, and he's absolutely right. AOC's Green New Deal calls for removing greenhouse gases from the atmosphere. Technically, scientifically, this would mean removing all H2O vapor and all CO2, which would mean the eradication of all life on Earth. Brilliant. And Cortez responded to Patrick Moore saying, yep, if you don't like the Green New Deal, then come up with your own ambitious on-scale proposal to address the global climate crisis. Until then, we're in charge, and you're just shouting from the cheap seats. Now, this little witch who was most recently a bartender in New York is now making some real money in Congress, and she's drunk with power. And she also has to address this problem of $1 million that was transferred from a campaign account to an LLC. Some shady dealings going on there. This young, upstart, ambitious congresswoman who's drunk on power. And Patrick Moore called her a pompous little twit. You don't have a plan to grow food for 8 billion people without fossil fuels or get the food into the cities. Horses? If fossil fuels were banned, every tree in the world would be cut down for fuel, for cooking and heating. You would bring about mass death. And it's so important. That is one of the most important tweets of the last month or two, because he's absolutely right. The goal for zero carbon emissions, the same goal that Bill Gates has espoused at TED Talks, is an anti-human policy. It's a Rothschild goal to innovate to zero, turning us all into serfs. Because as I've said so many times before, if they don't give us new technologies, solar isn't enough. It will not cut it. There are not technologies that we know about today that can replace all of the carbon-based fuels that we use and that we need to survive. And friends, I'll leave you with these two tidbits to chew on. I will be interviewing my friend Sophia Smallstorm, the producer of 9/11 Mysteries, and I want to get her view on the true nature of reality as she sees it, because she's always been ahead of the game, ahead of the ball, ahead of the curve, and especially in light of this incredible head-scratching article from Russia Today. Staggering discovery reveals moon lies inside Earth's atmosphere. You can't make this up. It's dated February 21st, and it says the Earth's atmosphere is much bigger than previously thought, extending far beyond the moon. The amazing discovery was made thanks to data that has been sitting unexamined for over 20 years. Friends, as I've been saying, we can't believe a word that comes from Operation Paperclip Nazi scientists at NASA, this occult-based organization. And finally, guys, if you want to know how the Patriots have won so many Super Bowls, you have to check out this video on my site, thephaser.com. I will link it below. Tom Brady admits his wife Giselle uses witchcraft to help him win football games. I'm not kidding. In his own words, she says he married a witch.
She said, "You're lucky you married a witch. I'm just a good witch."
And then he goes on to detail some of the practices of her witchcraft, which he believes actually helped him win games, as in the days of Noah. And friends, we'll wrap it up with a post from Q, post 2982. Freedom of thought will not only save you, but it will save the world. The days of fake news, control of narrative, and brainwashing are over. The enemy of the people has been identified, and it's the mainstream Mockingbird CIA corporate media. The Great Awakening is real. So with that said, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in, and a special shout out to my patrons who are literally keeping me in the game as YouTube changes the rules of the game in the middle of the game. And for real news 24/7, the antidote to corporate propaganda, visit us at sgtreport.com, thephaser.com, and thelibertymill.com. God bless. Bye-bye.
When you use Google, do you get more than one answer? Of course you do.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that's a bug. We have more bugs per second in the world.
There
Because
are.
we should be able to give you the right answer just once.